Oh, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
If anybody doesn't know who I am, David Machado, fiscal manager. I've been with the MPO for 4 years. This will be my fourth time I do this. Admittedly, I had taken a step back, so I may be a little bit rusty as far as what the process is. So let's just say we'll all learn together today. This is not meant to be a fully formal presentation. Feel free to stop me if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer it, and then those that we can't answer, we'll be sure to get you an answer. That being said, pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so first slide meant to provide a plan of what the structure is for the PD process and how it kind of works. So obviously by looking at it, it all starts with the governor. The governor appoints the commissioners to the CTD, so the Commission for Transportation Dispatch. In turn, that commission is tasked with implementing implementation of the statute, the policies, the procedures. I'll glance through this a little bit and I'll go in more into depth and as the slides go through. From there, the commission designates the designated official planning agency, or what the acronyms call it, the DOPA. From there, the DOPA is one of the key items that we are required to do. Normally, the designated planning agency is historically has been the MPO. We recommend the CTD to the commission, which then approves. You all kind of aware, this last year, at least on the Manatee side, we're in that cycle of redesignating MCAD to be the CTC. So you've kind of seen what the process looks like. Later this month, we'll be presenting to the CTD the redesignation of MCAD. That's upcoming. From there, in conjunction with Manatee County, we appoint and staff the LCB board, which is the meeting that we'll have here in a little while. What does the LCB board? It all basically oversees the CTC and it provides input and items like that. From there, it goes the CTC. The CTC obviously is responsible for providing the transportation for the disadvantaged in the communities. And it just continues to fall down. It's a little bit difficult to see, but the blue lines is meant to be the operational side. The green is meant to be how the fiscal or the financial part of it works. Basically, the guiding philosophy is for it to be a centralized policy development, but decentralized implementation. So the top basically creates the policies, and then it's up to the locals on how they want to implement those policies and those guidelines. Okay, so who are the transportation disadvantaged riders? Who do we serve? We serve the older adults, personnel with disabilities, personnel with low income, and at-risk children. What rides can they take? They can do medical services, work, school, or groceries. If I'm going too quick, just let me know. If you have any questions again, just stop. Feel free to stop. So as far as what the program is, the commission likes to call this slide the 3 pillars of how the 3-legged stool of coordination. So basically, the coordination system was established in 1979. 10 years later, in 1989, the legislator created the PD Trust Fund. Interesting part about the PD Trust Fund is 100% funded by state funds. There is no federal funds attached to it. Again, the purpose was to deliver a coordinated system at a cost-effective way. The way it was implemented through the three pillars, three main pillars, I should say. First one, obviously, the CTCs. In this case, it would be MCAT, the planning agency, us, the MPO, and local coordinating board. Everybody that basically attends and is designated to the meeting that'll happen in a little while. Yeah, so the summary of responsibilities of, I guess, mission. Again, it's an independent agency, administratively hosted in the DOT, funded with state funds, but it reports directly to the governor and basically dictates its own policies. So it's not, although it's hosted by DOT, it makes its own decisions. Obviously in conjunction with the governor. Again, legislatively responsible for the oversight and coordination of the TD service, administrates the TD trust funds, develops and sets policies and procedures, contracts with the CPCs to deliver the TD service, and again, it designates the planning agency, the MPO in this case, to assist in the whole TD process via the LCB. So this is obviously a pie chart of what the funding looks like for FY 25-26. I can say that at least in the last 4 years that I've been here, this has been year over year has been the largest incremental growth that I've seen in the funding. Historically, is anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000, maybe a little bit more at some point. The incremental growth from last year to this year has been roughly $1.8 million. Hopefully that transfers to more funding, at least for the transit agencies that are providing services. We'll see ultimately when all that comes out. Okay, so these are the different types of agreements, grants that entail the process as far as from when it comes down from the commission to us to the CTC, and then what options as far as funding, additional fundings are available. So the memorandum of agreements have to be completed and have to be signed and approved by the CTC on the CTC side in order for them to become eligible for TD funds. The planning agency also has some sort of a memorandum, but it's structured completely different. As far as the CTC goes, it can be used more for operational and purchasing of capital asset. I guess I can say it that way. For us, it's strictly based on tasks. So having this workshop is a task in our agreement, hosting the LCB meetings. So it's structured a little bit different. From there, there's different types of grants. It's the trip and equipment grant, which historically MCAT has pursued that grant for purchasing capital assets. Shirley Conroy grant is again used to purchase capital or non-sponsored TD trips strictly for rural. And then the newest one, which is not really that new anymore, is what is called the Innovative Service Development Grant, or the ISD grant, which is its name basically says it is an innovative service grant. So it allows agencies, CTCs, to submit a proposal for new and cutting edge systems that they may use to increase ridership, to provide different modes of ridership It is capped, if one county submits a proposal, it's roughly capped at $750,000. If it's a joint county, then it's $1.5 million. So the designated planning agency, aka what are the responsibilities? Again, I guess the first one covers what I just said. Could be an MPO, could be a planning council, all the local organization performing planning activity in the service. In the service area, I can say by experiencing conversations with the commission, it is normally defaulted to the MPO, very rare, or a planning council in areas that don't operate as an MPO. So what are the responsibilities? Again, we assist the CTC and the LCB in implementation of a local PD program. Staff can appoint the LCBs in coordination with the county. Facilitate and procure CTC and recommend approval to the CPD. Caveat to that, which since I'm speaking about it, I'll mention it. If the CTC, if the local agency, the local transit agency, it is interested in becoming the CTC, we are able to waiver the procurement policy. If it doesn't, if it's not a local transit agency that's providing the service, we would have to do what we all know as a procurement. So we would go out for bids, we would have all of that process. So that's why, even though it says procurement there, you haven't seen it, because historically it's been, at least for the area our MPO covers, both transit agencies are the ones that are providing the CTC service. What else do? We support the development of the TD service plan in conjunction with the LCB. And we review the CTC's annual operating report and submit to the LCB each year. The local coordinator board. What's the local coordinator board do? Well, they identify local services needs, they provide information, advice, and direct the CTC on the coordination of services. They serve as an advisory committee to the commission regarding, so basically eyes and ears of the commission on the ground. And it also provides an opportunity for different organization agencies that are providing the TD service to be in one same place, come together, have a conversation, gives the riders an opportunity to provide input and work out issues or details or things that they're seeing that we all may have missed. Not listed on that, but at least on my book, that's one of the probably the most important part of having these meetings. So the duties, again, it assists the CTC in establishing eligible guidelines and trip priorities, and evaluates the performance of the CTC. It reviews and approves the Transportation Disadvantage Service Plan, the TDSP, and the Memorandum of Agreement. It appoints grievance committees. Some of you here have participated in those in the past, at least in name. Thankfully, at least in my recollection, we've never had to activate the grievance committee or anything like that. You guys have done great over the past years. Meets at least quarterly, reviews and recommends other funding applications, reviews strategy service provisions in the area, and evaluates multi-county or regional transportation opportunities. So as for the CTC, there's 3 types of CTCs: sole source, partially brokered, or fully brokered. I would probably say that the sole source seems to be a dying breed over the past couple of years, just by the different new levels of service and ways of service, whether that be mobility on demand, items like that, that's changed the landscape a little bit. Currently, and partially brokered. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that. And then there's a fully brokered ones, which, as it says, they just, they're designated as the CTC, and they turn around, they do a procurement, they have a service provider operate the whole system, and they just have an oversight on that contract. So the process of selecting a CTC, as we all know, we're going through that process right now with MCAT. So the interest organization responds to the agency's request. In that case, we don't really have a request. It's MCAT continues to provide to be willing to do it. Is that willing to do it, and by default, we discuss it in the LCB meetings, and from there we do the recommendation to the commission, and then the commission finally gives the approval. This designation is for a 5-year term, so that'll be done this year. We won't see this again, hopefully, until 2031. Yeah, my answer is correct. So what are basically the duties of the CTC? Basically, they're in charge of operating the whole system. They're in charge of having a centralized call center, scheduling trips, setting guidelines for prioritization of trips, the eligibility, prepares the AOR, PDSP, in general, the whole operation of what the TD system is within the jurisdiction. I think, what do you guys know? Want to play it? Who wants to play it?
Sarah, me. Should I stand up there?
Doesn't matter. Whatever makes you feel more comfortable.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah Goolsby with Benish, a consultant for NCAT. In 2025, the rides provided were pretty close to what was provided in 2024. So MCAT as a CTC provided 75,130 trips, while the coordination contractors provided 32,150 trips for this period. As far as the trips by purpose for this time period, 37% of these trips were education, training, or daycare trips. 25% were medical trips. 19% were life-sustaining or other, followed by employment trips, and then nutritional trips. The funding sources for these trips for this time period, 47% were ADA trips, 26% were APD, 8% were Department of Elderly Affairs, 9% from the CTD, and then 10% were other. And as far as the sources of operating expenses, 58% were from local funds, 27% from federal assistance, 13% from state funds, and then just 1% from fares or directly generated funds. And then, any questions?
For the next step of the process, the TD process, once we go through the commission, we go through the planning agency, we go through the LCB, the CTC is designated. From there, there is what's called the purchasing agency. Mention the names on the screen. They recognize, you may be part of those organizations. Ultimately, they buy the trips to provide the services to the people they serve. The CTD eligibility criteria. Basically, how it's set, the commission establishes guidelines for transportation disadvantaged eligibility. The local coordinating board develops eligibility policy based on Florida statute and chapter 427 and commission guidelines. What are those eligibility criteria that have been adopted since 1997? They haven't really changed since the inception of the whole process, so they'll be fairly familiar. No other funding available, other means of transportation, no other means of transportation is available, cannot utilize public transit, physical or mental disability, age, income status, no self-declaration allowed, and the ability to pay. So how can you help? Largely, when I mentioned that the TD trust fund is majority is done through state funds, it is. But the greater part of that funding comes through the $1.50 that is paid through when you do your registration on your vehicle. In addition to that, how can you help? When you do the registration of the vehicle, they ask for that section for donations. There is a section for donation for the TD system. Whatever is donated within Manatee County would stay and go directly to the transit agency. I can say historically it's been maybe $1 or $2 that's received. So we could probably do better there, but time will tell. These are some upcoming meetings that'll happen. Obviously, our LCB meetings, other than the ones today. The next one is September 9th, and then following in November 4th. CTD meeting, which is the one we'll present MCAT for the redesignation, is June 11th at 2 p.m. The next one would be September 17th at 2 p.m. and then subsequently in December. The professional development workshop for those of you that are going, enjoy. That's your registration and close. I will not be there this year. And then the FPPA annual conference, it's October 25th and 27th. That one I will be there. I have to be there. There's a thing they call the TD calls a roundtable, where we discuss the processes of the TD and how we can hopefully better them. And with that, any questions? Oh, perfect. I either did that good or that bad.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's 5 minutes till the next meeting, so. Do whatever you want.